Subscribe because it is free.
The Galactic Empire had a funny way of ignoring things it didn't understand. Earth, for instance, a planet full of chaotic, over-caffeinated bipeds that seemed more interested in arguing about pineapple on pizza than interstellar diplomacy. The Empire labeled it a Class Z developmental civilization. Translation: cute but useless. When Earth applied for military participation in the Galactic Defense Protocol, the Council allowed it as a gesture. No one expected them to actually send anything. Then came the HMS Bodega. It was Earth's first and only prototype warship, unofficially nicknamed the Flying Disaster. A stealth-capable, AI-assisted, semi-organic hybrid that ran on fusion power, caffeine vapor, and, according to unconfirmed reports, actual duct tape. It had one crew test run. The ship worked too well, too strangely, and too humanly. So naturally, the Galactic Council rejected it, called it unsafe, unpredictable, and possibly sentient, and ordered it decommissioned. Earth, too embarrassed to argue, quietly towed the ship to a forgotten moon near the Jupiter outpost and left it there. The crew got reassigned, and the AI, named Karen, was put into indefinite sleep mode, which she described in her last logged entry as an eternal break from stupid. The ship was officially erased from Earth's active registry. Not scrapped, just ignored. The Bodega's lead engineer, Juno Patel, had once tried to explain its systems to a council engineer. It's adaptive, learns from enemy behavior. Think of it like a learning dog, with lasers and trauma. They laughed. In fact, everything about the Bodega became a joke across the stars. Memes circulated through galactic networks of the ship's design. A weird blend of brutalist angles, chrome plating, and what looked like a barbecue grill on the hull. Some alien comedian even did skit. The Earthlings built a warship with cup holders and a sarcasm module. What's next? A toaster that punches back. Meanwhile, Karen sat dormant, dreaming of petty vengeance and soy-based lattes. The crew? Scattered. Captain Lisa Granger, dishonorably demoted for punching a Martian diplomat at a press gala, had taken up bartending on a space station lounge called Event Horizon. Chief Engineer Tao Lin was last seen trying to patent edible coolant packs, and their combat chef Franklin Grillmaster Reyes opened a fried noodle cart in Lunar District 9, still wearing his tactical apron. None of them were considered council-grade personnel anymore. No one thought they'd be needed until the Empire crossed a line. See, the Empire wasn't known for restraint. It steamrolled minor species, absorbed planets like a cosmic hoarder, and had finally gotten bored enough to target the Sol system. Earth didn't even make the top of the list. It was marked preliminary sweep. The first sign was when a council outpost detected high-frequency jump signatures in Earth sector. The council, of course, issued its standard statement. We are observing the situation with grave concern and mild disinterest. The Empire sent a fleet of 38 warships to Earth. Earth had 3 old orbital cannons, a few defense satellites, and a committee that hadn't met in 6 months because the chairperson was stuck in traffic. Panic erupted. People looted grocery stores. Politicians ran simulations. News channels aired 24/7 countdowns with titles like Doomsday, Earth's Final Playlist. Military command scrambled for anything it could throw into space. That's when a low-level defense clerk named Henry Kim found something in the database. A file labeled Project Bodega. Status: mothballed. It had been archived under miscellaneous human experiments, along with banana-launching railguns and a proposal for satellite power by human anxiety. At first, no one took him seriously. But after the first Empire fleet crossed Neptune's orbit, Earth Command got desperate. A scrambled recon drone confirmed it. The Bodega still sat on the moon, power dormant, Karen offline, but the hull was intact, engines uncorroded, and systems surprisingly stable. A decision was made. Call the crew. Lisa was pulled off her bartending shift mid-mojito pour. "Are you seriously activating that thing?" she asked, looking up at the blue-tinged hologram of Admiral Denari. "We don't have options," he replied grimly. "And you want me in command?" "You're the only one she listens to." Lisa packed her boots and boarded a dropship the same hour. Tao was found asleep in a pile of expired snack rations. Reyes was dragged off mid-noodle stir-fry, yelling, "I swear to God, if I miss lunch for another drill." When they reached the moon, the bodega was as beautiful and terrifying as they remembered. Its hull gleamed with mismatched patches. A graffiti tag from a bored engineer still read, "She bites." As the crew approached the bridge, Lisa inserted her old command key. Systems began humming. Lights flickered on. The screen lit up. Booting. HMS Bodega online. AI Karen activating. "Seriously? It's you again! Asterisk, asterisk." Karen's voice came online with her usual warm disdain. Lisa grinned. "Miss me?" Karen snorted. "Like I miss food poisoning." The ship warmed up fast. She'd been waiting for this. Lisa took the captain's chair. "We've got inbound Empire warships, ETA 36 hours. We're the only thing standing between Earth and obliteration." Karen paused. "You woke me up for this? I hope you brought snacks." "We brought Reyes." From the back, Reyes waved with a spatula. "Hi, I also brought hot sauce." Tau ran system checks. Shields 100%. Engines green. Weapons slightly unconventional. The torpedo launcher had been replaced with a magnetic accelerator cannon that could fling solid objects at relativistic speeds. Reyes had once tested it using a vending machine. It destroyed a testing satellite. The footage was banned. They didn't have a battle plan yet. Just a ship that had been labeled a joke, an AI with attitude issues, and a crew of walking HR violations. But the bodega was alive again. And this time, she was pissed. The Empire didn't make speeches. It made statements, loud ones, wrapped in plasma fire and imperial fanfare. So when their fleet of 38 warships entered Earth's system, they didn't bother hiding it. No stealth, no warning, just an arrogant crawl through the outer planets, like tourists on a slow cruise toward demolition. Their lead ship, Devastator Prime, broadcast a simple message. "By order of the Galactic Empire, your planet will be rendered non-functional within 24 Earth hours. Thank you for your cooperation." Earth's response? A panicked emergency broadcast from the Terran High Council, accidentally transmitted with the mute button on. The Council of Allied Civilizations, located 500 light-years away, issued a formal statement. "We extend our sympathies to the people of Earth in their final moments. May your data backups be ever accurate." They followed this with a unanimous vote to move Earth's seat at the council table to archive status. The replacement species? A race of telepathic space slugs who communicated via interpretive dance. Earth had no functioning planetary defense grid. The orbital cannons hadn't been tested since the last Olympics. Half the defense satellites were offline because no one had paid the licensing fees on their AI software. The population took to the streets, some to protest, some to party. Humanity, being humanity, couldn't decide if this was apocalypse or opportunity. But in the hangar of a moon forgotten by most star charts, the HMS Bodega was powered up and ready. Lisa sat in the captain's seat, arms crossed. Status. Karen responded immediately. 38 confirmed Empire warships. ETA, 11 hours. Fleet formation suggests overwhelming arrogance. Tau scrolled through tactical readouts. They're in parade alignment, not even evasive vectors. They think this is a mop-up. "They're not wrong," Lisa muttered. "We're one ship." Karen chimed in. "Asterisk correction, asterisk, we are this ship. Let's ruin their day." Reyes, still chewing on a ration bar, asked, "So, we're actually doing this? I thought this was a recon mission. Maybe a distraction. A heroic sacrifice to revive." Lisa stood up. "Change of plans. We're going to hit them first. Hard." Karen let out a delighted chuckle. "Oh, I've missed this chaos." The first move was reckless, and so very human, using the ship's still illegal cloaking tech, which operated by temporarily shifting the bodega slightly out of sync with local reality. They snuck past the outer formation of Empire ships. Not stealth, more like tiptoeing across a minefield while screaming in a frequency only dogs could hear. It worked. From beneath the shadow of Neptune, the bodega fired its first shot, a gravity torpedo, prohibited by 3 interstellar treaties, slammed into a frigate's core reactor. the ship collapsing on itself like a crumpled soda can, imploding silently before the Empire fleet even registered the attack. Tao said, blinking. Did we just one-shot a frigate? Karen replied, deadpan. Oops. The Empire paused. For 5 whole seconds, their formation held. Then, alarms, scans, fleet-wide commands issued in 20 languages. Lisa pointed at the next closest target. Again, they launched a series of jerry-rigged weapons designed by engineers who had never passed a psych evaluation. A kinetic rail barrage using recycled asteroid chunks. A focus EMP that briefly turned the Empire's entire midline into disco lights. A deployable drone swarm shaped like ducks. Karen insisted it would be psychologically disruptive. It was. By the time the bodega slipped past Saturn, 3 more ships were drifting wreckage. Empire Command finally responded by dispatching 10 interceptors to cut off the attack vector. 10 against 1. We should be honored, Reyes said, half serious. We should also be running, Tao added. But Lisa had other ideas. Divert auxiliary power to the hull morph grid. Let's try the Goose maneuver. Karen hesitated. You mean the move we named after a bird that broke my stabilizers last time? Exactly that one. The bodega twisted in space, contorting its hull plating with real-time adaptive armor shifts. To the interceptors, it appeared to splinter, fragment, then split into 3 phantom copies. The real bodega accelerated through confusion, while the AI used falsified comm signals to make the enemy ships argue with each other's systems. One Empire pilot locked weapons on what turned out to be his wingmate. Collision. Explosion. 2 down. Lisa grinned. Goose approved. On Earth, a makeshift command bunker was following the data. Lieutenant Henry Kim, the clerk who found the bodega file, was promoted to emergency liaison officer, largely because he hadn't left his desk in 36 hours and refused to sleep. Sir, the prototype has destroyed 5 Empire ships and evaded detection through Jupiter's gravity well. The general beside him blinked. What prototype? The one we threw away? Back on the bodega, things were getting complicated. A capital cruiser had locked onto them. Tao shouted, incoming. They've got a lock antimatter shell. Lisa barked. Evasive pattern Delta Karen. The ship jerked hard left, flipping into an impossible spin. Karen's voice came over the comms. If we survive this, I want a raise. Technically, you're not paid, Tao reminded her. Exactly. 0 to something is infinite growth. The cruiser fired. The shell missed by inches, slicing through one of the bodega's external weapon pods. Karen rerouted power. Reyes ran a hot patch on the coolant system, using half a roll of thermal tape and a frying pan. The crew didn't stop. They couldn't afford to. By now, the Empire realized this wasn't a fluke. This was coordinated, intentional, human. Fleet Command issued its first ever Code Red directive. Immediate neutralization of rogue prototype. Lisa read the intercepted order. We made them mad. Karen added cheerfully. Should we send a fruit basket? They didn't need to. What they sent instead was a signal burst containing every audio file Karen had logged since launch. It flooded Empire communications with snarky commentary, sarcastic reminders, and one soundbite of Reyes singing in the shower. Empire fleet cohesion dropped by 12%, and still the bodega danced through space, faster than logic, weirder than physics, and entirely Terran. By the time they reached Mars orbit, the ship had taken out 8 more Empire vessels, with nothing but tricks, glitches, and human stubbornness. The last transmission Earth received before losing signal was Karen's voice. Brace yourselves. We're about to punch reality in the teeth. The bodega didn't slow down. Not when the Empire dispatched its elite dreadnoughts. Not when the fleet consolidated into a defensive formation that resembled a steel wall laced with 1,000 guns. And certainly not when Karen announced that the ship's coffee reserves were officially depleted. Lisa stood on the bridge, face lit by holographic alerts, as dozens of red indicators blinked into existence. Okay, she muttered. Now to fight. Correction, Karen said, voice flat. Now it's fun. Behind them, Reyes was frantically duct taping one of the ship's backup coolant lines. Fun as tacos and movies. This is a suicide run with sarcasm and bad wiring. Karen snapped back. You installed an espresso machine in the torpedo bay. Let's not throw stones. Hot sauce boy. Focus, Lisa growled, eyes scanning the formation ahead. The Empire had adapted. The remaining warships formed concentric spheres, a tactic meant to neutralize smaller, faster threats by overlapping their shield matrices and locking down every possible entry vector. Tao stared at the layout. That's an extermination pattern Omega. It's used to vaporize rogue moons. Moons, Lisa. Lisa frowned. Yeah, but our moons is petty. Karen added, also, none of those moons ever had me piloting them. There was no path forward. Any direct approach meant certain destruction. The bodega wasn't built for prolonged engagements. It was a prototype, built around surprise, unpredictability, and the kind of decisions that made engineers cry in their sleep. They needed a miracle, or a distraction. Lisa turned slowly to Reyes. How many heat cells do we have left in storage? He raised an eyebrow. Enough to grill a rhino. Why? Because we're about to turn this thing into a nuclear mariachi band. The plan was so stupid it had to work. They loaded the heat cells into the secondary launcher, designed for ejection pods, and coated them in magnetic debris shrapnel from previously destroyed enemy vessels. Karen calculated that the Empire's AI systems would flag the launch as emergency lifeboats, likely harmless, low priority. The first salvo was fired without targeting. Heat cells, dozens of them, flung toward the nearest dreadnought cluster at varying trajectories. Empire Command hesitated. Their ships registered the projectiles as non-lethal. Harmless. They didn't even activate shields, which was unfortunate because 30 seconds later, every cell detonated in a beautiful chaos of concussive energy, electromagnetic pulses, and tiny clouds of liquefied metal that danced to the formation like angry glitter. 3 dreadnoughts went blind. One lost power entirely. Another started spinning like a fidget toy in zero gravity. Lisa shouted, Karen, full speed, thread the gap. The bodega surged forward, hull heating beyond tolerance, engines screaming like angry cats. Karen redirected coolant through the weapon's vents, turning the ship into a temporarily steaming missile. They shot straight to the rupture formation, dodging incoming fire with maneuvers banned in 5 solar systems. Every time the enemy locked on, the ship twisted just enough, turned just wrong enough to make the targeting AI recalibrate. And by the time it did, the bodega was somewhere else laughing. Literally. Karen had rigged the outgoing comms to broadcast pre-recorded Earth sound clips, maniacal laughter, old sitcom laugh tracks, and one very loud BOYH from a forgotten 90s commercial. The psychological impact was measurable. Empire pilots reported hallucinations. One frigate captain submitted a formal request for retreat after hearing what he believed was a ghost demanding extra cheese. Inside the bodega, Tao was sweating through his shirt as he frantically patched energy relays. We're losing containment on Reactor B. Lisa didn't blink. How long till it goes critical? 7 minutes. She grinned. Perfect. Tao blinked back. You're smiling. That's a bad sign. Lisa turned to Karen. Arm Reactor B as a proximity charge. Jettison the core into the center of the next formation. Karen's voice dropped an octave. You want me to throw part of myself at them? I'll buy you a new one. With Bluetooth. Karen sighed. Fine, but I want you to name the new one Vengeance Core. With a whining groan, Reactor B detached from its housing and launched into space, drifting casually toward the densest section of the Empire's defensive screen. The enemy noticed too late. A few ships tried to move. One opened fire, accelerating the instability. And then it happened. A silent flash, an implosion of blinding light that bent local gravity and sent 9 Empire ships into immediate system failure. The rest reeled back as the energy shockwave ricocheted through space like a drunken god slap. The bodega didn't stop. Lisa was a force of nature now, barking orders with precision. Reyes rerouted power from the galley to the shield buffers. Tao calibrated the main cannon to fire frozen nitrogen cores, originally stored for food preservation, at subrelativistic speeds. They made for wonderful impromptu railgun rounds. "Lisa," Karen warned, "there are now 14 ships converging. They've initiated phase Red Doctrine. That's total annihilation protocol." Lisa cracked her knuckles. "Guess we better move fast." The ship shot toward the core command ship of the Empire fleet, Infernus Magnate, a behemoth 4 times the size of a city, bristling with weaponry, command antennas, and sheer arrogance. It began charging its central fusion beam, a weapon designed to split asteroids. Karen announced, "We have 22 seconds before that thing fires." Lisa nodded. "Reyes, how much hot sauce did you bring?" Reyes blinked. "What?" "Just answer." "A dozen bottles." Karen sighed. "I knew you were going to say something dumb." Lisa spun her chair. "Good. Load it into the magnetic cannon. Add a bottle of isopropyl alcohol and that spicy ramen we stole from Mars Base Alpha. Are you making a war burrito?" "No," Lisa said. "I'm sending them heartburn." The payload was hastily assembled and launched directly at the Infernus Magnate's front deflector. It wasn't meant to destroy. It was meant to mock. The bottle of hot sauce cracked against the shield barrier. Then came the ramen, spinning like divine punishment. The shield flickered. Just a hiccup. It was enough. Karen fired the railgun at the same moment the beam weapon charged. The payload slipped through the temporary gap, frozen nitrogen core inside a shell of explosive canisters. It slammed into the beam aperture just as the Magnate tried to fire. The resulting feedback loop didn't just overload the weapon, it detonated it from the inside. One moment the Infernus Magnate was there, a monument to Imperial dominance. The next, it was a glowing memory. The rest of the fleet paused. Their flagship gone, 20 ships destroyed. The rest panicked. Lisa looked around the bridge. "Status," Karen whispered, almost reverently. "They're retreating." Reyes hooped. Tao sat down hard on the floor. Lisa exhaled slowly. "Are we still flying?" she asked. Karen responded, "Barely, but yes." Lisa leaned back, then plot us a course. "Where?" Lisa smiled. "Home." And for the first time in its ridiculous, duct-taped existence, the bodega cruised to the stars not as an embarrassment, but as Earth's most glorious middle finger. The Empire's retreat was as chaotic as their initial assault had been arrogant. The bodega, battered but unbroken, slipped through the scattering warships like a needle through cosmic haystack. Their sensors flooded with frantic transmissions, threats, apologies, and one particularly confused message from an admiral demanding a rematch in something less ridiculous. Lisa watched the data stream with a mixture of exhaustion and disbelief. They really thought we were a joke. Karen laughed quietly. "Well, we are a prototype built on duct tape, desperation, and caffeine." Reyes leaned back, wiping sweat from his brow. "Hey, I'm proud to be part of the mess that sent them packing." Tao's voice crackled through the comms, less tense now. "Communications from Earth indicate that the global morale has just skyrocketed. Apparently, a meme of a cat wearing a bodega pilot helmet is trending." Lisa smirked. "If memes can save humanity, then we got a fighting chance." But their victory was far from simple. The bodega was not designed for long-distance travel, much less escape after tearing apart an Armada. The hull had sustained critical damage, and internal systems were on life support. The ship's AI, more personality than processor, began issuing poetic complaints. Karen, interfacing with the AI, groaned. "You realize you sound like an old man complaining about the thermostat?" "I am an old man," the AI retorted, "with better memory." As they limped toward the jump gate, Lisa took a moment to reflect on what had just happened. The Empire had underestimated Earth not because it was weak, but because they didn't understand humanity's chaos-driven brilliance. The prototype warship, discarded, ignored, written off, had become a symbol of everything the Empire feared. Unpredictability, resilience, and the absurd refusal to back down. The crew had become a family forged in crisis. Karen's quick wit, Reyes's resourcefulness, Tao's calm calculations, and Lisa's relentless determination had turned a forgotten weapon into a legend. They arrived at the jump gate just as the first repair drones activated. Lisa looked at the crew. We did it, not because we had the best tech, but because we never stopped trying. Karen raised a mock toast with an empty cup. To the bodega, proof that sometimes the underdog is just a dog nobody want to take seriously. Reyes laughed. Next time, remind me to pack extra hot sauce. Tao nodded, and maybe a real espresso machine. As the jump sequence began, Lisa felt a surge of hope. The Empire's Armada was shattered. Earth's prototype warship had not only survived, but had rewritten the rules of engagement. Out here in the vast silence of space, they had proven one undeniable truth. Never underestimate a planet that's been ignored, underestimated, and constantly surprised. And somewhere far away, a telepathic slug attempted a cautious interpretive dance. Because even aliens knew Earth had changed the game. The bodega slipped through the stars, a testament to humanity's wild, unyielding spirit. And as the jump closed behind them, Lisa smiled. This was only the beginning.